We're still out with.
Sorry, we are live. Dambeta network issue, connection issue.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, Zimbabweans, depending on where you are. Thank you so much for joining us. You are live on Change Radio YouTube, Change Radio Facebook page, and we are also live on Change Radio, the radio itself. We are also live on Zim I. Thank you so much for joining us. Today we have a Change Radio special program. We are discussing ZCTU. Has ZCTU been captured? We discussed this. We talked about this. I think we had about 4 to 5 programs when Peter Mutasa, the former president of ZCTU, was ousted in a rigged election that we reported that it had been rigged by ZANU-PF, which was trying to capture the workers' union. But it looks like now the workers' union has been completely captured by ZANU-PF. And we are going to get some people, veteran trade unionists, to come and help us discuss this. But of course, we can report today or tonight, depending on where you are, that here in North America, we are privileged to be hosting the spokesperson, the interim spokesperson of the CCC, Fadzai Mahere. Advocate Fadzai Mahere is here in North America, and in 2 hours she'll be addressing at the Southern Methodist University in Dallas, Texas, one of the most prestigious universities in America. Maybe we may be able to connect you live so that you can hear her addressing. But if not, the program will obviously be recorded and published later. And then after addressing at the SMU University, she is going to meet and greet citizens here in North America. So great things happening here, something to look forward to. But before we get there, let's talk about ZCTU. Barbara, has ZCTU been captured? Has ZANU-PF completed the capture of ZCTU?
Yes, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, Zimbabweans from all over the world. Lingabe lavuka njani lachona njani mthwakazi omuhle emagumini wonke amane omhlaba. Yebo Chief Shoshe kunjani nduna yako Shoshe. Sesiphendukile uhlelo lwenu lwansuku zonke lwamihla yonke PADARE namambo Shoshe enkundleni lenduna yako Shoshe. Before singakaqalisi Chief, I think it's wise ukuthi abantu they should subscribe to Change Radio on YouTube. If you haven't subscribed, please subscribe and follow us on Twitter as well. Change Radio Twitter. Follow us again on Facebook. This is the Change Radio that is going to bring change in 2023. This same radio station ndio ichaunza rusununguko Chief. So we report as you know zvisinga report kune ZBC. Siripota izinto ezingaripotwa yi-ZBC. This is an alternative to ZBC. Manje tinenge tane TV yedu ye-Change TV, Chief Shoshe. Yes, ZCTU, yes, it has been captured, Chief, as a former veteran or as a veteran trade unionist. I can confirm that ZCT has been captured. And, you know, it's so painful, Chief, what I heard. Remember, when we were reporting to the people, sikhuluma labantu, abantu babengakabi kwazi ukuthi inhlanganiso ye-ZCTU, inhlanganiso Zimbabwe Congress of Trade Unions, inhlanganiso yezisebenzi, ukuthi ihamba njani. Chief iku-congress yabo saripota lapho ukuthi izinto zazingahambanga kuhle, abantu babenika izimali ukuthi bavotele abantu bona laba sebekhona sebenza ukuthi i-ZCTU i-capture yi-ZANU-PF. So people were given money, Chief. We reported here, we had the program here where people were given money to vote for the current leadership that is there. Now, why are we saying ZCTU has been captured? We are going to have some other speakers that are also in the labor movement. They will also say their view. You know, the Secretary General of ZCTU, Comrade Japhet Moyo, had an interview, Chief, with SABC. So in his interview, we were all shocked, Chief. You can even go to the YouTube and see the comments that were passed by people that are not even trade unionists. You know, we were so shocked. We know Japhet Moyo, he has been a cadre, always a cadre. He's been someone who is you know, he's someone who's been resolute from time immemorial. Chief Japhet's history goes a long way, you know, and we were all shocked, Chief. He served during Trangrai's time, he served during Wellington Bebe's time, and now he served during George Nkiwane's time, Comrade Matombo Mo Matombo's time, and Comrade Peter Gift Mutasa's time. He was okay. Now we are shocked. All of a sudden, Jaffe did an interview where he reported that the unemployment rate in Zimbabwe is only 19%. He was defending the government like no one's business, Chief. He was saying the government is trying by all means to meet the workers' demand. The government is, you know, even said about when you were asked about migration, he said migration is a global issue. When he was asked about the electricity, the blackout, said it's not only in Zimbabwe, he was in South Africa and there was also blackout. You know, he was trying by all means to defend the regime. But what I know, Chief, I myself would like what you call, I want to remove Japhet in all this matrix. Japhet Moyo is only a spokesperson, Chief. I know how ZCTU operates. It's not his liking that he said all those words. He's a spokesperson. He speaks the organization's position. He speaks the executive leadership is the one that runs ZCTU in between the General Congress, the General Council. So Japhet will be doing exactly like he will be sent by his masters. So it's not his problem. And I know the young workers of ZCTU had to tweet to say they are distancing themselves from Japhet's speech. They can't distance themselves because Japhet was not talking his mind. He was talking exactly what he was taught. And I know he might even be fired because people reacted badly, Chief. People reacted, the workers reacted to say, you have betrayed us. How could you say this? Now they want to clean their mess by blaming Japhet, Chief.
Yes, Barbara, I know you worked with Mr. Japhet Moyo for the longest time, but
Yes.
personally, I'm not going to be kind to him. I'm not going to absolve him of anything. If you see that things are not the way you believe them, they should be, I would expect a person like Japhet Moyo to just resign and leave than for him to dine with the devil.
Yes.
I think it's just tarnishing his reputation. He's a person, he's a veteran trade unionist. He has done a lot in as far as workers are concerned in Zimbabwe. I personally respect him, but I do not respect what he did with the South African Broadcasting Corporation. If he had just done it with a local broadcaster, it would be better. But for him to go on SABC and pretend that everything is okay in Zimbabwe, that the high unemployment that the SABC had quoted was not true, and he started going on with the ZANU-PF rhetoric that informal employment in Zimbabwe, that someone who is at CSO, that someone who is at Mbare, that someone who is selling oranges, that a graduate from the University of Zimbabwe who is selling sweets that person is employed. That's not it. We cannot allow Japhet Moyo or ZCTU or anyone for that matter to get away with something like that. It's people should just learn to say the truth. You get more respect and you safeguard your reputation, but just by just sticking to the truth. People are suffering in Zimbabwe. We have young graduates, we have people that have spent 4 years at a local university paying through the nose. In Zimbabwe, there's no free education. You don't get loans anymore to go to university. And you finish your degree, and then you start selling sweets, and Japhet Moyo and ZCTU call that employment. That's nonsense. We cannot accept anything like that or anything closer to that. So I think the onus is now on the Zimbabwean worker to decide what they need to do. ZCTU is no longer for the workers. ZCTU is now representing ZANU-PF. They've completely been captured. We now want to see men and women in ZCTU disassociating themselves from ZCTU, even resigning to show that they are dissatisfied with what is going on. If they remain in there, it just means that they are just going to be part of the rot. And I don't think it's something that they should be doing. So, Barbara, I don't absolve Japhet Moyo.
Yes, I know you are very correct, Chief. The angle that you are the people. Can you hear me? I just wanted to give the people the way ZCTU functions, and of course you are right. Am I audible, Estela?
Yes, very clear and loud.
I can see Chief is no longer here. So I just wanted people to get to know how ZCTU operates, and we were also of the opinion that you cannot say things that you know that they are wrong because you want to protect your job. I think it's better to protect your image than to say you want to protect your job, because that was a betrayal. That was betrayal, Chief. And to even think of them representing workers and at the same time glorifying the current government that is there. I was expecting at that interview to be powerful. I was expecting Japhet to say a lot of issues that was worrying workers, but we didn't even hear that in that. He didn't hear that in Japhet's interview. And it was very, very unfortunate. When I was still in the ZCT, we used to go to workshops. We used to Ledris used to teach us, used to tell us how to disassociate ourselves from the statistics, the government statistics, where the government was saying unemployment was 10% and 90% of the people were employed, and they were including the informal sector. But then you can't say people are employed when they don't even have a decent work. Employment, it all entails the decent work. If a job does not have the pillars of the 4 pillars of decent work, then it's not a job. How can you say a person who sells tomatoes outside, who doesn't pay tax to the government, who doesn't even have shelter or maybe ablution facilities, you say that person is employed? So it was actually surprising to hear that coming from ZCTU. It was very, very unfortunate to say that unemployment is only 19% and the rest of the people were employed, which is something that needs a lot, leaves a lot to be desired. Like you said, with the workers, they should wake up and they must smell the coffee, because you can't say you are being represented by people that are busy dining with the oppressor. And if you have decided to side with the oppressor, it means you are also an oppressor. So it means the workers are being represented by oppressors because they are buying the story of the oppressor, you know. So they've decided, they said they want to be apolitical, but I can't see how you say you are apolitical, and yet when you can't even criticize the people that are making you suffer. Even in the liberation struggle, it began with workers. Workers had grievances with the white employer. That's why people went to war. Workers were not free. Workers were not paid enough money. Workers were being discriminated. Workers were treated separately. They were not treated equally with the white workers. So that's why they went to war. And now we are seeing it. The oppressor, the white oppressor has become the black oppressor, and the workers are being oppressed. And there's no voice to fight for that, for those workers. The workers that are genuine, that fight for their rights genuinely, they are jailed. They are jailed. Is Chief Beck Estella?
No, he's not yet back.
Okay.
He's not muted though.
Oh, I was just making noise.
Okay.
Yes.
No, you can make
Maybe.
noise.
No, finally I managed to check in now, but I have to start preparing to go and meet the good advocate.
Okay. I think we need to let Comrade Mandla, we need to let him in so that he can share with us what he thinks about the state of ZCTU, and maybe if he can tell us the way forward. He is on the ground. He is the Secretary General of Cement and Lime Workers Union and Allied Workers Union of Zimbabwe. And he's a trade unionist. I know him. He once worked in the ZCTU as an officer in Bulawayo. So he's got vast experience in trade unionism, Chief. So if we can have Estella, Comrade Mandla, he's failing to connect viewers and listeners. He's failing to connect, so we'll connect him through audio. But whilst Estella is doing that, Chief, you can come in, Chief. What have you got to say?
Let him try to speak. He's not on mute now.
Okay.
Chairman Mandla.
Over to you, Comrade Swand.
Yeah, it looks like he's still having problems. So I will just call him.
Yeah,
Okay.
just call him. While you're
Okay,
calling
over to you, Chief.
regani mokwazisa mwene wazvo pano ndikuona mwene wazvo tatsikwa namwene wazvo verenuka my sister tikutaura nyaya yeZCTU pano. ZCTU has been captured. ZCTU is gone, and that's folks the strategy that ZANU-PF is using. They are capturing key institutions in within the movement. As you know, our former party, the MDC, was born.
Yes, please do hold on. He won't be long because he knows that I was calling you.
Okay. He's in. Okay, if he's in, please allow him to come through.
Yes, you may speak, Chairman Mandla.
Welcome to the program, Mr. Mandla.
Yes, how are you?
Yes, thank you very much. We want you to just tell the people who you are and what you have done in the labor movement so that people can understand who is speaking, and then just go straight into the issue that we are discussing here. Yes, ZCTU been captured, and why are you comrades in the labor movement, including yourself and Mr. Leader Barbara here? Why have you allowed ZCTU to be captured? And Mr. Japhet Moyo, is he really doing justice to the labor movement, especially considering the interview he gave to SABC?
Thank you, Comrade Chief. My name is Mandla Spanda, as you have alluded to. I am I would say a veteran trade unionist. I've been in the trade union movement for the past 20 some years, almost 30 years, so to speak. And Currently, I am the General Secretary for the Cement, Lime and Allied Workers Union of Zimbabwe. Champion, I am disturbed with the current affairs. Look, I've been disturbed for a long while, and it was not quite clear because the comrades in leadership had not spelled out their position in regards to the Zimbabwean situation politically vis-a-vis the workers' predicament. Comrade, we have a situation where we are in a country that is doomed politically, so to speak, and economically, so to speak. We have a challenge where economically we have an inflation of official inflation through the statistics, which is not the actual inflation, but the official one that we have is 280%. 280% by any standards is among the worst in the world, if not the worst. You know, it's among the worst in the world. And mind you, we are not at war. For a country that is not at war, that kind of inflation is unreasonable. It cannot be spoken of. Right? We are in that kind of situation. And we are also in a situation as a country and as workers. We are in a situation where we have an average Zimbabwean earning about $150 in an economy where the official, in terms of the Zimbabwe statistics, the official poverty datum line is around $540. And you can see the level of poverty of the Zimbabwean workers. We are in a situation where, as a country, we have more than 90% of the population not working. And we have a situation where we have corruption at its worst. In Africa, for your own information, if you come to Zimbabwe, you will get one of the very new vehicles worldwide. The latest model of any vehicle that you can think of. Go to Harare, you will find it. Go to Harare, there you will find mansions, my friend, that you cannot find in any part of this world. But I'm talking of a country that has this kind of inflation. Mind you, we are talking about a country here that is very rich in natural resources. So rich in natural resources, but those natural resources are being abused by the few to their personal benefit. And as the working class, we then need to stand up so that we can measure up in terms of all the items and issues that I've spoken to. We can't wait and watch the very few enjoying the resources on their own. We can't. Because there are cartels here and there. They just create names to siphon money from the government, siphon money from our resources, siphon money from even the taxpayers, the poor workers that I'm talking about that are earning about, what, $150 a month. They are being taxed. And look, where does the tax go to? It funds at some instances, it even funds violence against them. So, champion, where am I getting it? I'm getting it saying to then see a trade unionist stand up in this environment and say, look, guys, we appreciate what the government is doing. Look, the authorities making an effort to revive this economy. The government is, the authorities are making an effort to stabilize the economy. Mind you, These are these very same authorities that have been administering the same economy for the 40-some years. And we have seen that economy go down the drain day in, day out. And as we speak today, what do we hold that will tell us that the economy is stabilizing? Champion, we are still talking at the backdrop of a national labor center that cannot pay its workers. How appalling is that? How appalling is that? A national labor center cannot pay its own workers for a year plus now. And they come here and tell us the economy is stabilized. Look, I don't know, but I believe, and I strongly believe, this is ridiculous to say the least. So I think as workers, what we need to do is, we have seen the dimension that this whole game has taken. There has been a paradigm shift. We have entrusted people to lead us as ZCTU, and we believe they are not advancing our interests in that regard. They are obviously advancing interests of maybe the government, and the only reason that can happen is co-option. Champion, you see, there is no other explanation for sentiments from trade union leadership like what the current Secretary General has said. There's no justification besides co-option, besides the fact that they are sitting in the same table with our abusers. This is why they are now singing their song. For whatever reasons we are pretty not much aware of. But now as workers, we can't just sit and look. We have to, by all means, find an alternative so that the workers still have a mouthpiece. And what we have done as workers, we have said, no, look, we are not going to disband ZCTU. ZCTU has always been there and it will always be there. We can always correct it, but constitutionally, there are a number of ways of correcting the situation at ZCTU currently. Because look, they have been elected right now, and they have to be in power for the next 5 years. And within those 5 years, until and unless probably there is a vote of no confidence that is done against them, they'll still remain in power for the next 5 years. And we can't stay and watch them for the next 5 years behaving in the manner that they are behaving. Because we know a ZCTU that was consultative, a ZCTU that was that depended and that acted upon what the people said. Every cadre in ZCTU was always taught that trade unionism is about democracy. And democracy is by the people, for the people, and that kind of democracy. General democracy, which talks about the people generally. So Comrade Spanda, yes.
Maybe I just want to pose a question so that you can continue. As far as I'm concerned, when I was still in the ZCTU structures, decisions were made collectively. Decisions were made through consultations, like we're saying, and then the General Council will come up with a position, and then the leadership will amplify that position through statements, through interviews. So do you mean to tell me that this was a General Council position? What Japheth said, was it a General Council position, or it came from the executive leadership? And also, I just want to know whether they are now singing this same mantra, Nyika inowaka nevenewayo mantra from ZANU-PF, and also when they came into power, into their positions, they were congratulated by even Nick Mangwana and Nick Mangwana was booing Peter Mtasa, and Mnangagwa also said per Workers' Day, Hanzi, ZCTU, and ZANU-PF, they are Siamese twins. What is your comment on all these statements?
Thank you, Champion Papa. You know, like you're saying, in fact, this is where I was going to. The ZCTU usually runs what they call paper forums. They go to all the regions. The leadership goes to all the regions. They address the workers themselves, right? They address the workers themselves. They hear what the workers have to say. And after doing that, they will then go and sit down at General Council. Unfortunately, currently, I'm not a member of the General Council. They will sit down at the General Council and say, guys, you have heard what the people say. They then strategize on then actioning what the people have said. This is why we have had actions that have resulted in, for example, the September 13. It was a result of the people having said, look, this is what we want. We want to demonstrate against the government. We want to demonstrate against the ills that are happening against workers. And it was through an initiative by the leadership. But for all you know, this leadership has been in office for the past year, and what they have done, all that they've done, they've called what you call them, labor forums, to introduce themselves to the people. And people reacted. And I remember when I was in Bulawayo where they did so, people told them, look, we are suffering. We don't want to see you here introducing yourself and it be the last time. We want to see you actioning because you have come into a boat that is actually sinking. We need to see you reviving the situation. But where are we now? We are having people that are, in essence, they are actually Siamese twins with the government because they are singing the same mantra with the government. It's the government that is saying the situation has stabilized, but nothing on the ground points to stabilization. For example, migration. Yes, we know migrant workers are always there, but there is no worker that migrates from a dark pasture, from a green pasture to a gray pasture. So you are saying people are just migrating for fun. They are not visitors. They are not tourists. They are running away from the situation in Zimbabwe. If you ask them out there, most of them, they are economic, what you call them, refugees, because of the economic situation in the country. And everyone is here to see. The SG himself, our former president, Comrade Peter Mtasa, they were incarcerated for advancing the people's rights and interests, people's political, economic, and social rights. They were incarcerated by the same government. And it's still happening. As we talk right now, we've got Vanama Saraure that are having challenges of incarceration for advancing interest. They're just saying, we are teachers. Please give us something that is worth of a teacher. Not even worth of a teacher, something that is worth of survivor. But they're not getting it. So how do we dare say there's stability? How do we dare justify migration and say it's a world phenomenon? How do we dare justify power cuts and say it's a regional problem? How can if kids starve in my house and I'm earning enough money, why should it be my neighbor's problem? So I think yes, we are having a situation where in ZCTU we are no longer pushing the project of the people. I think we are pushing the project of some individuals. And like I said, champions, we cannot sit back and watch. What we have done is we are saying those workers that believe that politics of the day are deciding our destiny, they need to come together and say, look, this is the situation now. What do we do? We cannot wait for ZCTU because we've seen ZCTU is singing from a different direction. In fact, they have said they are apolitical. I don't know whether they meant they are not partisan in terms of politics or they are apolitical. Because politics, when you're a trade union, you cannot avoid politics. You will always be political because trade unionism is about looking at the welfare of the poor. And the working class has always been a poor class. And in this situation, in our situation, is the worst class. So
Yes.
we are saying we are working on congregating all those workers that believe we need to have a voice in the political administration of the country. And
Maybe, Comrade Swanda, maybe before we go to way forward, I have a question here, or maybe I don't know, it's a comment or it's a question. I don't know how you're going to respond to this one. During my young days in the ZCTU, I used to hear statement saying the ZANU-PF or maybe the government wants to destroy ZCTU from within. Remember, they formed ZFTU thinking it would destroy ZCTU. It failed. And then there was another strategy to say they have to destroy ZCTU from within. And it was years back. I think it was during Chibebe's tenure. And I used to think, what are these people saying? How is this possible? Because during those days, ZCTU was very powerful. It was very strong and it was united. And so this strategy, I understand it was something that was discussed at the ZANU-PF Congress. I don't know where, maybe you know the story because you were still there at the ZCTU as a worker. I think you know what I'm trying to say. Can we safely say they've achieved that agenda?
precisely, Champion Barbara, they have achieved that agenda. I'll tell you what, in every Congress, I've told you of my 20-something years experience as a union.
Mr. Sibanda, could you speak louder?
Yes, I was saying I attended a number of ZCTU congresses, and there has always been a grouping in those congresses, and ZANU-PF as a party has always supported a certain group to lead for the purposes of controlling the labor center. Unfortunately, during those days, the labor center was so much capacitated, so much so that even those that were card-carrying members of ZANU-PF could tell that the leadership that is being imposed on us is not appropriate for our purpose. And they would actually vote against the agenda and put a correct person. But what has happened now is that vote failed, and we are we are scattered now because the leadership now that is in place is singing their song, and that is what they are saying. ZANU-PF has never celebrated any entry of leadership in the from as far back as I came into the union almost 10 years ago. But this time around, like Champion Barbara has indicated, they were celebrating. They're saying, look, we are seeing in streets. It means they are, and what is happening now actually shows that yes, they are actually seeing streets. They are actually not only born of the same mother and father, but attacked.
Yeah. So, Comrade Mandlas Vanda, I heard you had an interview with SABC again with Obed Masaraure, and you spoke very well to dismiss what Japhet Moyo had said, because that one was a betrayal. It was a betrayal. I even read the comments, after the interview, and the people, common people, they could sense that ZCTU was captured. People were saying, what happened to the ZCTU that we know? So, having said all that, Comrade Mandla, what do you think is the way forward? And what are you doing, and what have you done to because you can't let all this happen to workers, because workers chose you guys to represent them. You are the general secretary of an affiliate of ZCTU. And what are your members saying about all this? Are you going to keep quiet because ZCTU is a mother body? What are you going to do?
Thank you, Champion Papa. Like I indicated earlier on, we cannot sit back and watch our fort falling. What we have to do is, as workers, we have to reorganize and come up and say what is happening currently is not what we want. There are a number of ways of addressing the anomaly. The first way is for people out there to say, guys, what you are doing up there is not what we measured you up to, and it's not what we wanted you to represent us on. So it's either you ship in or you ship out, because you cannot be leading us astray while least we watch and see. Secondly, because that would be a process, and that process can take a while, because look, 5 years is a short while. As we speak, a year of those 5 has gone by now, and we are still singing. Now, what we have since done is we want to have a voice, a big voice from the working class that is saying, yes, we are not distanced from ZCTU. We are a part of ZCTU because we are an affiliate of ZCTU. But I personally don't agree to the mantra which says we cannot be, we should be apolitical. Because who will advance our political interests? Who will advance our, because political and economic interests are inherently related. You cannot divorce the two. If you can't be political, it means you can't advance my economic interests, because the administrators of the economy are the politicians. So what you need to do then is to make sure that you have a voice in the political arena. So what we have since done is we have formed a grouping. This grouping is going to be a voluntary grouping, a grouping of those that believe that workers should have a say on the political administration of the nation. And what we have since done is we are saying, if workers should have a say on the political arena, we have a way. We have a way. There is a body that we are currently in the what name of launching. What is called Labour Caucus in politics. As the name states, course, current Labour administration has decided to be apolitical. And we know that politics is very related to trade unionism. We can't have a situation where members of or leadership of a trade union are saying they are apolitical. So in that board, what we are then doing is we are advancing the issue of politics, because it's the one that is actually affecting workers. If the political environment is reasonable and stable, I'm telling you, the workers will be enjoying. I'll tell you, Barbara, you know it. When there was unity government, because it was not the best of situations, workers were enjoying their working life. It meant something to be a worker. Not the current environment where you have someone with a master's degree selling airtime on the road and earning a living out of that. And our esteemed trade union leadership are saying those people are counted as employed. Honestly, how can that be? That cannot be. So what we are saying as the Labour caucus in politics, we are saying all those workers that believe that they have to play a part in the political arena of the country, they must come up, join hands, and have a word with the rest of the country and say, no, we cannot have a country that is run through corruption, a country that is run through maladministration, through you can name them all the ills that are happening in this country. So this is our way forward. What we want to do is we want to group workers, but we have not forgotten that the current ZCTU is not doing what we mandated them to do as the workforce. And we are going to deal with them accordingly, because like you said, I'm the General Secretary of Cement and Lime and Allied Workers. We will, as the workers, have our voice heard in that General Council through our General Council member. Tell them that, no, look, if you are not captured as they are, then tell them what the people are saying. Because there's no person that is currently enjoying stability of the Zimbabwean economy is stated by our Secretary General. And obviously, I know Japhet has been with the trenches before. He is talking a position of the leadership. He's a mouthpiece. And being a mouthpiece that he is, we are saying what they are saying is not acceptable. And we need the people to stand up from all directions and fight against this problem that we have as the working class. Because if we don't, then our well-being in life and the future of our children and grandchildren is doomed.
Obviously, Comrade Svanda, you can't, as the leadership, you can't say what you think it's good, and that goes against the workers. The majority of the workers, all workers are suffering, and you can't then be on the side of the oppressor to say they are trying, the government is trying, and yet vashandi vari kukanga waya nemuromo. And I've never had a leadership ZCTU that buttresses this oppressive regime, that speaks good about the regime whilst the workers are suffering. Comrade Svanda, I happened to you have exposure internationally. I mingled a lot of international labor centers, and all of them that I met, Comrade Spanda, they were all aligned to the opposition, because they were fighting the government, all the governments that oppressed the workers would be aligned to the opposition because they would be fighting one cause, the opposition fighting politically, and then the workers fighting on labor issues, and then they'll meet halfway. I've seen labor centers that second their own people to parliament through the opposition. I've seen it even here in the UK. The unions, they support the Labour Party. You see, they don't support the Conservative, they support the Labour Party. You go to Japan, it's the same problem. You go, I've traveled a lot, Comrade Spanda, and I've seen most unions, if not all of them, they are aligned to the opposition because they will be fighting the government. The government is the one that oppresses people. So to say you are apolitical so that you can champion the causes of those that are oppressing, or if you decide to be neutral, Comrade Spanda, you choose to be neutral in the issues of injustice. It's just as good that you have sided with the oppressor. You can't be neutral when things are bad. You have to take a side. You have to take a side. That's a fact.
Yes, you are very correct, Champion Papa. Very, very, very correct. You know what? The labor body on its own is there to represent and advance the interests politically, economically, socially, and otherwise of the poor working class. Right? So, what that means is you are there to see to it that whoever samples on those rights is dealt with. Fortunately, we are not using any force. All we are saying is, as workers of Zimbabwe, we use our voices. We're saying, let our voice speak. Let's be heard. Let's shout out loud and be heard and saying, look, we cannot have a situation where our rights in all those facets are trampled on as we watch, right? And poor workers, they elect leadership into positions and they think these are the people that will advance those interests of ours. Without consulting those people, without going to those people, the same people are then singing another direction. And the workers have to sit and watch. No way. Workers won't sit and watch. Like you correctly put it, Comrade Papa. Opposition usually arises from a situation where the government is not doing right. If the government was doing everything right, very little voices would oppose what the government do. Of course, there are those that oppose for the sake of opposing, and they would oppose, but they would not go anywhere. But, for example, opposition in Zimbabwe, I want to say, it's clear that it's an opposition that wants to liberate people from political, economic, and social injustice. Right? An opposition that would want to see a different Zimbabwe from what we are seeing currently. And obviously, we are saying, look, we cannot align ourselves to the oppressor. When someone out there is shouting out loud and saying, don't oppress people, he's not shouting to us and to say, support me. No, he's saying, don't oppress people, right? And we are looking at the two. One is saying, don't oppress people. We are saying, don't oppress people. The other one is oppressing people. Who do we team up with in the circumstances? need to team up with those that have the same agenda with us. Precisely. So as a result, we need to be very clear. In as much as politics is concerned, as Zimbabwean workers, we will delve in politics because they shape our destiny. We will delve in politics and we will delve in meaningful politics. Meaningful politics is about politics that gives bread to the general Zimbabweans. If you come with your manifesto right now and we know you to be a person of your word, we will listen to you and say, this is the person that we need to as workers, to rally behind. We cannot rally behind a monster that has made us suffer for umpty years. We can't. We will rally behind those that will make us, that will give us a difference, that will give us a relief from the economic challenges that we are facing.
Yes, thank you so much, Comrade Mandlaswanda. You know, that was very powerful. We were supposed to have Comrade Shoko as well, and Comrade Ngo. They had challenges in connecting, but let me assure you that we are going to have more programs on these issues because we know workers' issues are human rights issues. If workers are happy, and then the whole nation is happy, you know. So we at Change Radio, we are going to support every initiative that you are going to come up with. Even if you need airing, if you need spaces, we are going to provide those spaces because we know that workers are the ones that fight the struggle that liberates the country. If the country is liberated, and then the workers will also be liberated. It's very unfortunate, Comrade Mandaswanda, when I was doing my survey, that the workers, they are earning a paltry salaries that are less than $100. You know, it's so pathetic. If you look at the salaries here, like here in the UK, you look at the salaries, you know, they pay £8.72 per hour. Per hour, that's the minimum. Whether you work as a gardener, whether you work as a cleaner, you are a child minder, you are a nurse, you are a doctor, that's the minimum. It then depends with the experience and the qualifications. So, but everyone is guaranteed of that £8.72. And you know, but the workers are still fighting, Comrade Mandla. They are still fighting. The workers right now, the trainmen are on strike, and today there was a picket. All other unions, they came in to support the trainmen, but there is democracy here in the UK. The salaries, they are just good, but the workers, they feel it's not enough, and they were demonstrating. We didn't even see the police beating them. You know, it was so peaceful. You know, it was like, you know, a church gathering. You wouldn't even think it was a demonstration by workers. So this is the kind of the situation that the workers must be in. Workers should enjoy. They should be able to negotiate freely. They should be able to picket. They should be able to demonstrate and to petition the employers and the government at the same time without being victimized. So we really appreciate your coming here, Comrade Manda, and I would like to thank you so much for spending your time with us at Change Radio. If you need anything, contact us. We'll help you in championing this labor caucus in politics. I would like to congratulate you for being focused, for having that vision of seeing that of creating an alternative voice for the oppressed workers. Thank you so much, Comrade Mandla. Your parting words.
Thank you, Barbara. We actually greatly appreciate also the platform that you have given us to air our concerns, because the media fraternity in our situation so stifled that dissenting voices cannot be heard. So we appreciate your good gesture to have us air our views, and we also appreciate your future endeavors to always entertain us when we advance our endeavors, and obviously we are going to be knocking on your door more frequently, because as the new baby in the running, we need to keep on knocking so that people will understand that we are an alternative. We need to move and see to it that people are served with justice. People are served with economic and social activities.
Yes. Thank you so much, Comrade Mandla Svanda. Viewers and listeners, that was Mandla Svanda, the General Secretary of the Cement and Lime Allied Workers Union of Zimbabwe, CLAUS, and also the chairperson of the Labour caucus in politics that is about to be launched, an alternative voice to the workers that are oppressed in Zimbabwe. We wish you all the best in your endeavors, Comrade Svanda and your team, and we hope everything is gonna move in the right direction. We are signing out. My colleague Chief Soshe has gone to another assignment where he is hosting a champion Fadzai Mahere in North America. So it's a good morning, it's a good afternoon, it's a good evening. Our viewers and listeners, lilale kuhle, lichone kuhle, mtwagas omuhle. Signing out is Comrade Babs. Thank you so much, Estela, for technical support. Goodbye.
Oh, thank you so much, Mr. Mandla.
Naivasevenzesa semhuka ndichivanyima mari yepei. Naivasevenzesa semhuka ndisingavawedzere mari. Naivasevenzesa semhuka ndichivanyima mari yepei. Naivasevenzesa semhuka ndisingavawedzere mari. Daifunga musevenzirombe amaiwe, daifunga musevenzi nhapwa haina ropa, daifunga